Good morning, Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1FM, and 990 AM. WEEB. Welcome back to the most listened to program in all of the Sand Hills. It is time once again for Mornings with the Leader Man. I am Steve Leader Adams, and don't forget, of course, you can see this program as it evolves right there on your computer or iPhone or phone. Just go to our website at talk973.com. Upper right, the upper middle of the page is the link where that one's located. Click that once, that will get you there. If you're on your mobile device, try your YouTube app and put Mornings with the Leader Man in there to get the right results from the top of the search. If you're on your mobile devices needing audio, we suggest TuneIn app or iTunes or Streama. Any of those will work. Many others will too. Just put put WEEB into that search, and we should pop up at the top. If you're on our website and want the audio stream, it's in the upper right-hand corner of every web page. In the upper right-hand corner where it says Listen Live. Just tap that once, you're listening live that quick. Weather for us today here in the Sand Hills area. It's definitely going to be a difference from yesterday. Summer's pretty well gone now. Mostly sunny today. High of 54 tonight. Clear. 27 for a low. Things get even more cold tomorrow with a high of 42. And plus you'll be dealing with a 14 to 23 mile an hour wind. That'll remind you how cold it is. Clear Thursday night, a low of 23. Friday, sunshine and 45 degrees. The winds die down. But Saturday, a chance of rain. This long-range forecast looks pretty bad, particularly Monday night into Tuesday. Let's see. Saturday, mostly cloudy, scattered showers, 42. Sunday, mostly cloudy with scattered showers, 42. Saturday night, mostly cloudy with a chance of rain and snow, a low of 433. And then for Monday, partly cloudy with a slight chance of rain or snow, 20% chance, high of 43. I've heard you. Monday night, mostly clear with a slight chance of rain or snow, low of 31. And Tuesday, this is where there's no slight chance. It just says partly cloudy. No, yeah, it does. Slight chance of snow, a high of 51. So it looks like no real snow threat coming our way. Might see a little bit of color in the precipitation, but nothing to write home about yet. Right now around the Sand Hills, winds are from the northwest at 7, visibility 10 statute miles, humidity 44%, dew point 27, pressure is 29.94. It's clear and a chilly 48 degrees right now here at Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM. WEEB. All right, let's move to sound bites this morning. The pharmaceutical companies have done it again. Your reproductive system deserves better protection than just a pill, don't you think? Well, they had the perfect product for you. Wait a minute. Napster had to screw it up. I knew it. Let me stop Napster again. And get my soundbite back up here. Where'd it go? Right there. Now I got to start it over. All right, we were talking about pharmaceutical companies coming up with a new way to protect yourself from getting pregnant.
The pill, the sponge, the ring. All excellent forms of birth control for their time. But today, you need a stronger level of protection. Introducing The Wall. Invaders trying to breach your southern border? Keep them out of your land of milk and honey with The Wall. Made of reinforced American steel, nothing can penetrate the wall. Not climbers, not diggers, definitely not swimmers. Stop illegal insemination with the most secure contraception money can buy. The Wall. And your prescription for The Wall is free. No copay, because Mexico is going to pay for it. Choose The Wall, or you will get pregnant. Make birth control great again with The Wall. Use only as directed.
Out there, you may have seen out there on the internet, there was a woman supposedly drunk in Fort Lauderdale Hollywood Airport that lost it at a JetBlue counter the other day when she decided she was too intoxicated to fly. The counter did, and she is calling the gate agent a rapist and claiming to have a gun on her since she's homeless, and just yelling, "Get me out of here! Get me out of here!"
Damn it! Who does that to a woman like me? No! 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 Get me out of this thing! You rapist!
What?
Get me out of here! Get me out of here! A gun on me because I'm homeless! Get me out!
She's a gun. She's a gun. She's in that. She is. She's got a gun on her. Yeah.
Well, meanwhile, a substitute teacher in Florida was angry at the principal last month. Don't know why. Anyway, he got revenge by smearing feces on some picnic tables in the park right before the principal hosted a party there. She's been suspended, and it looks like she'll face charges. Here's the guy who saw her do it and another witness of this.
Once I got over here, I could smell it instantly. And I knew she was vandalizing it. Just poured it out of a cup and then just would wipe it on the table. It was like a mixture of urine and feces. And you could see, fecal matter on the ground. Just the smell of urine. It was you could really smell it.
Seems like something a 12-year-old might do, not an adult. She should be stuck cleaning bathrooms for quite a while. Give her a chance to really get up close and personal.
Okay, well, sometimes it's best not to say anything at all when it comes to teenage girls, in this case in Southern California. A mom went up to Southern California, asked a group of teenage girls to leave the children's play area at McDonald's the other day, said that her two young kids could play on it. And the girls attacked her and trashed the whole store. That's always comforting.
They came and they threw cups of water and ice at us.
I was about to get hit in the head, and they were throwing it pretty hard too, like they have no aim.
Telling me to get up and fight them, and I said, I'm not going to fight you. They were punching me the whole time. I feel like it could have been prevented. This was definitely not right.
Okay. You remember this campaign?
Where's the beef?
You know how old it is today?
35 years.
That's right. Wendy's launched their Where's the Beef ad campaign 35 years ago this week. First commercial aired in January 10th of 84. It featured three old ladies trying to call a different fast food chain to complain about the size of their burgers.
Yes, we know it's a big fluffy bun.
Talk to the manager.
It is the manager.
Where's the beef?
He's putting us under the supervisor.
If you ask me, which it isn't, we should call the owner.
At Wendy's, the hamburger we modestly call a single has more beef than the Big Mac or Whopper.
We've got the owner.
Hello? Where's the beef?
Wendy's kind of people never ask, where's the beef?
I don't think there's anybody there.
Well, from a good news file, an 8-year-old boy in North Carolina was with his family in Utah recently when he suddenly had to have surgery on a brain tumor. Luckily, he's okay, but he missed his dog, Frank. So a complete stranger who heard the story volunteered to drive Frank 2,300 miles to reunite him. Here's the clip.
I felt really excited to see Frank. I just really like Frank, and he's a good dog.
I never questioned why I was doing it or anything like that. I just knew it was something that needed to be done, and I wanted to do it.
One time when we were just laying down and snuggling, a tear went down. He cried. And I felt loved.
We've been happy that Perrin made it out of his surgery. We've been shocked. We've been sad.
It's been hard, but it's been overwhelmingly awesome.
Okay, President Trump delivered his primetime address on illegal immigration last night, called it a humanitarian crisis, and said illegal immigration strains resources, affects jobs and wages, and talked about illegal drugs. He also talked about the conditions illegal migrants face on the way here and the crimes illegal immigrants commit once they get here. He didn't declare a national emergency, and he didn't mention the wall right away.
My fellow Americans, tonight I am speaking to you because there is a growing humanitarian and security crisis at our southern border. Every day, Customs and Border Patrol agents encounter thousands of illegal immigrants trying to enter our country. We are out of space to hold them, and we have no way to promptly return them back home to their country. America proudly welcomes millions of lawful immigrants who enrich our society and contribute to our nation. But all Americans are hurt by uncontrolled illegal migration. It strains public resources and drives down jobs and wages. Among those hardest hit are African Americans and Hispanic Americans. Our southern border is a pipeline for vast quantities of illegal drugs, including meth, heroin, cocaine, and fentanyl. Every week, 300 of our citizens are killed by heroin alone. This is a humanitarian crisis, a crisis of the heart, and a crisis of the soul.
All right, Trump also went on to say that he blames the shutdown on the Dems.
At the request of Democrats, it will be a steel barrier rather than a concrete wall. The federal government remains shut down for one reason, and one reason only, because Democrats will not fund border security.
You know, I've heard the debate so long on the fake news TV as well as the real news TV that it gets this, you know, it just ticks you off so bad. The Republican side will talk about putting the fence up. They talk about putting drones, but let's face it, drone can't push back a caravan. You got to have physical barriers where it's needed. And the Democrats just don't seem to understand from the experts down there they need this amount of wall, this amount of other kinds of security to stop the flow of illegals coming into the country. 60,000 came into this country last year. And they said over a lifetime, the cost was $81,000 some odd dollars for keeping one of these around.
Do you think it's that they don't understand it?
They don't want to understand. No, the bottom line is they want these people to come in, somehow get declared legal, and then they get a big new pool of Democratic votes. That's what it's all about. Oh, we don't need a barrier. That's not who we are. That's a bunch of crap.
Yeah, I think
then they could build a wall around their house.
All the video of that's available of all these same people talking about illegal aliens 10 and 15 years ago says what you're saying is correct.
Yeah. And then Trump brought that up. He said these Schumer, Pelosi, all these Dems have said or voted for a wall since they've been in Washington. And then when it comes time that Trump wants it, well, they don't, all of a sudden, they don't want a wall. It's immoral and everything else because they hate Trump. They'd rather see this country, they'd rather see a illegal alien come across and kill one of your family members than see Trump succeed at this. That's what we're at right now. You've heard the stories of the policeman who never will see his daughter again because not right after Christmas Day.
Yeah, right on Christmas Day.
So that, well, he'll never see another one because an illegal alien decided to shoot him instead. So that seems, that's the mentality of the Democrats. It's like, well, I'll build a wall around my house, but you can't have a wall to protect your common ass. That's just what they're really saying. My butt is more important than your butt. And I have my wall and security in place. But you commoners just have to mingle. In other words, let them eat cake.
Rush talked about some survey yesterday. I don't remember the number, but it seems it was in single digits of Americans that don't think illegal immigration is a problem. His point was that the Democrats are running against the generalized opinion of the American people.
Well, Chucky and Pelosi are sitting there saying that this is a fabricated crisis. There is no crisis. Immigration is actually down this year. Well, how about if we cut the tap off all the way? That's how we protect us. And for every one of those immigrants that come in this country, that's one less American that gets his share of the pie. And you got, what's his name? Mayor of New York.
Rahm Emanuel.
De Blasio.
Oh, New York, de Blasio, yeah.
Yeah. And his little giveaway yesterday, now he said yesterday, as of now, all New Yorkers, whether they're legally or illegally, are covered with medical costs. They will get a card from the city of New York, and they can go anywhere for medical treatment, courtesy of the taxpayer. Now, he admits there's 600,000 people in New York without coverage. But now everyone's instantly covered. And here's the pie in the sky. He says it will cost $100 million more for the city. Guess who's going to pay that?
Supposedly they're millionaires.
Yeah, well, middle class ends up paying it. And you do the math, and that comes out to $161 per immigrant. Or per patient of the 600. Are you telling me you can supply health care to someone for $161 a year? Can't be done. When the truth is, they had this "we'll turn no one away" at the emergency room policy. It's failed, it's bankrupt, it's overwhelmed to the point that people with a real health care policy can't get health care, because it's so jammed up with all the illegals. And when so that has failed and is in horrendous amount of debt. Well, since that failed, here's a new socialist party that this one will work and take the load off the old one. Yeah, right. You lied to us the first time, and it didn't work, and now you're lying again.
The new governor of California is declaring some similar things there.
Yeah.
And Kamala Harris, you're talking about.
He said, we welcome all those that seek asylum.
Yeah.
Come on in. We love you. You can go over there to that street and poop in that street for a while. But come on in.
Yeah. Kamala Harris, you're talking about the Socialist Party. Kamala Harris called that idea fantastic.
The liberals, of course, scrutinize the president. He couldn't have been any more presidential sounding than he did last night. And he's always has this little niche where when he's talking, he'll breathe through his nose on the intake, and it's a little noisy, but that's just the way he does it. And there's nothing wrong with it. But there is to the liberal left, they're saying he sure was sniffing a lot in the Oval Office during his speech. Here's some of his sniffing. Like I said, he was just drawing in air to talk. But anything to work him over with.
He's Darth Vader. Now we know.
Yes, and he didn't die. Let's see. Old Chuck Schumer, do we care about his response?
Well, they looked bad.
All right, we'll give a minute edited version of it.
The President of the United States, having failed to get Mexico to pay for his ineffective, unnecessary border wall.
A lie. It was addressed in the President's side of the speech where he said that the negotiated new NAFTA deal with Mexico has saved America well over $5 million. So the wall did get paid for by Mexico. $5 billion. So the wall did get paid for by the Mexicans. It just wasn't, okay, where can we write a check for a wall? We got the money. Now we just need Chucky to allocate it. But, of course, Chucky knows best.
And unable to convince the Congress or the American people to foot the bill, has shut down the government.
Now, the more lies from their Democrats. The American, in a recent poll, a nonpartisan poll, they asked people about the wall and about complete illegal immigration with a wall. For the wall by itself, 53% of Americans said no. They said it in 17, they said it in 18 and 19. But a total package of technology, drones, whatever else that the border agents asked for, X-rays machines, so forth and so on, and wall, well, over 65% of Americans were for that. So the total package is what they want. And that's what the president laid out last night. You know, line by line, what it would cost. Let's see what else the Dems are lying about.
American democracy doesn't work that way. We don't govern by temper tantrum. No president should pound the table and demand he gets his way, or else the government shuts down.
Well, let's see. They had the Oval Office, not the Oval Office, but that meeting where all three of them were sitting there, and Nancy just wanted to get behind closed doors. She didn't want anybody to hear what she had to say. Hate for her to be transparent.
Hurting millions of Americans who are treated as leverage. Most presidents have used Oval Office addresses for noble purposes. This president just used the backdrop of the Oval Office to manufacture a crisis, stoke fear.
More of his lies. That's enough. What was the point I was getting ready to make? I don't know. Anyway, we'll see. Oh, yeah. It's just about that. Senior moment. Don't you hate those?
Yes.
Talking about the wall. It'll come to me. It's just right there, but I can't quite get it back. Yeah. But regardless, it seems like, they all were for it back during the Obama years, had voted for it, had voted money for it, but all of a sudden now it's immoral. And the only thing that's changed is the president. So they go for saying we need the immigration controls, including the wall, but now a wall's immoral. It's not necessary. And the bottom line is they want as many Democratic voters coming over here. They may be illegal for a while, but we're making it way too easy for them to get integrated into our society. They come in and you got this bubble of federal protection over them. You can't ask them if they're here legally or illegally. Even the courts can't ask. The officers can't check on them. There used to be a database they could go to see if someone was legal or illegal. Now that's been shut down so that you cannot tell. And all arrest powers over illegal aliens are reserved for ICE only. Nobody else can arrest them but ICE, unless they specifically say that, okay, Deputy B, you can arrest John Doe over here because he's an illegal and bring him to us. But without that, you can't touch them. They have that federal government protection over them. You can't ask them if they're illegal. So when these guys go get driver's licenses, and then they say, would you like to vote? Would you like to register to vote? And they don't ask anything for that. Boy, you try to get a duplicate driver's license, man, you got to just about bring your birth parents in here and say, yes, we conceived them and had them. It's just about that bad. But you want to get registered to vote? Okay, just fill out the form. You're registered. That's simple. You see a problem with that? I do. I think you first need to prove citizenship. You can prove that with Social Security card or a passport, but some kind of official document that says, yeah, you're an American citizen. Your birth certificate, that would work. Unless it's doctored, like somebody we know.
The fact that they don't want this to happen is they don't want American citizens only voting. They're intentionally getting illegals to vote. Yeah. And not just illegals, also legal residents, but non-citizens.
Look at de Blasio handing out health cards to 600,000 people in New York and say everybody has a right to health care, so we'll just take it in the form of taxes from everybody else and give it to you. Even illegals are qualified because they're a sanctuary city. If you live there now, you've got health insurance. Yeah. What a country.
By the way, I didn't get to read the story, but someone in Congress, in the new Democrat Congress, has just introduced or is prepping a bill for single-payer health care, which is exactly what people like Limbaugh were saying was going to happen when they first brought Obamacare in.
Yeah, everything's going to be Medicare. Well, yeah, the land of opportunity is quickly turning into the land of we're going to take everything from you so that everybody else can have it too. So you work hard trying to raise your family and have a few creature comforts, only to have the government come in and say, no, you got to pay your fair share. They have no clue on how an economy works. When the government takes it away, there's less money in the private sector to spend as disposable income that generates the jobs and the robust economy that we all long for. But you give those Democrats long enough, they'll come in and screw it up, and we'll have Obama bill back again where we have 1 to 1.5% growth and call that the new norm. That's what he called it. Oh, I got you 1.5% growth. Aren't you happy? You know, the economy is pretty much at a standstill because small business cannot grow. Only the biggers get bigger. And if a small gets too big, a bigger comes in and buys them up. Well, that's how it works. All right, things we need to know today so we don't sound stupid. Disneyland is upping their tickets and going to a sliding scale now. Admission will be $104 for low-demand days, $149 for the high-demand days. Parking is now $25. All this prior to their summer opening of Star Wars Galaxy Edge. Basically, it's a Star Wars land with rides and places to explore, opening in Disneyland this summer and Disney World this fall. The Dallas Morning News is in financial trouble. They just laid off 43 employees. Well, that sounds like the pilot here, doesn't it? Dying breed. The annual Consumer Electronics Show is underway in Vegas. One of the wow toys on display is LG 64-inch 4K OLED TV that rolls itself up when you don't want to watch it.
Cool. Apparently Samsung has a wall-sized TV there, too.
Must be nice to have all that money, but problem is getting, yourself in a situation where you can watch the 4K television, which they say is the maximum amount of information that can be pumped in your head at any one time. Any more would make it unrealistic.
You mean in terms of your eyes perceiving?
Yeah. Your eyes can only take in so much, as well as your brain. And the 4K is supposedly right at that limit.
Although I guess the bigger they go, the more definition they have to get, because the bigger it is, the farther away you are, and it loses definition. So,
Chris Rock is said there's no way he'd take on the Oscars. That is, anybody that takes on the Oscars are just begging to get tagged with the anti-Trump rhetoric. And that will make a big dent in their career. Because there are plenty of films I'd like to see, but I don't go see because of the scum in them. Like, what's his name? Bill. Mr. Good for You.
Oh, Bale. Christian Bale.
Christian Bale, yeah. I won't go see his. And I won't go see Shia LaBeouf because he's just gone off the deep end. Or a Robert De Niro or many others. Remember how those U.S. diplomats in Cuba were feeling sick and thought and thoughts went to Russia brain attacks? The doctor says their symptoms are more likely caused by the steady chirping of Cuban crickets, and they just weren't used to it. Yeah. A popular French novelist and television author is in the hot seat for claiming women aged over 50 are too old to love.
Okay. Some things speak for themselves, don't they?
Yeah. In Georgia, a family went on vacation, and when they returned, a guy had moved into their home, changed the locks, and said the home was now his. They eventually got him out with the help of the police and the SWAT team, but how's that for a homecoming, huh? MasterCard's new logo doesn't have any letters on it. Ford's new police cruiser can hit speeds of 137 while also being more fuel efficient. Is there really a need to go that fast? Is there? When you're going that fast, it's getting a little excessive. Smoking among Americans has hit an all-time low. Well, there's some good news out there. One of the astronauts up in the International Space Station accidentally dialed 911. What is your emergency?
Good morning. Grab the winter coat today. What a change from yesterday as high temperatures only climb into the upper 40s to lower 50s this afternoon. We're mostly sunny and breezy throughout the day today. Winds stick around tonight, and that'll lead to wind chill as low temperatures fall into the upper 20s tonight. Wind chill early tomorrow morning, likely falling into the teens for many of us. Highs tomorrow only in the lower 40s with sunshine and a breeze. I'm meteorologist Kat Campbell in the Weather Center.
Broadcasting from the top of the North Carolina Sand Hills, 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM, WEEB, Southern Pines, Pinehurst, Aberdeen.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Following last night's Oval Office address in which President Trump referred to a crisis on the southern border.
A crisis of the heart and a crisis of the soul.
Today, the president heads up to Capitol Hill.
With roughly 1/4 of the federal government closed over a border wall funding dispute, the president will take his message to Republican senators at their weekly luncheon. He made a public case with his Oval Office speech, and he'll try to keep the support of GOP lawmakers. The president argues that there are serious national security and humanitarian concerns at the border, and that Congress should approve money to build a wall.
White House correspondent Greg Clugston says Mr. Trump will hold more talks with a bipartisan group of lawmakers this afternoon before he pays a visit to the U.S.-Mexico border tomorrow. Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein reportedly planning to leave the Justice Department after a new Attorney General is confirmed. Correspondent Jeremy House says that's a word from Justice Department insiders.
According to the officials, Rosenstein wants to ensure a smooth transition for incoming nominee Bill Barr and plans to transition out of the job in the coming weeks. Barr's Senate confirmation hearing begins January 15th, meaning a confirmation vote would take place in mid-February at the earliest. If confirmed, Barr would then oversee the special counsel's Russia investigation.
An investigation that President Trump has often referred to as a witch hunt. In what's viewed as a positive sign by the financial markets, U.S. and Chinese envoys have tacked. Right now, Dow futures are up about 80 points, with the blue chips at 23,824. S&P futures.
Ethos changes all that. Ethos is modern life insurance for people who don't have the time for fine print, extra doctor's appointments, or hidden fees. Ethos is affordable. It only takes about 10 minutes to apply online, and you'll be taking the first step in ensuring your family has the help they need to maintain the life you're building for them, even if the unexpected happens. Ethos brings you choices that don't require an in-person meeting with an agent, and in most cases, there's no need for a doctor's appointment. Ethos, life insurance for the 21st century. Apply online in just 10 minutes. Get a free quote now at getethos.com. That's getethos.com. Getethos.com.
A former Israeli government minister charged with spying for arch-enemy Iran will serve 11 years in prison, part of a plea bargain with authorities.
Gonan Segev was an Israeli energy minister in the mid-90s. Last summer, he was charged with aiding Israel's arch-enemy by passing information to the Iranians for the past 6 years and even flying to the capital, Tehran. He was accused of leaking details about Israeli officials, security sites and energy markets. He pleaded guilty to serious espionage as part of a deal with prosecutors, which will see him jailed for 11 years. He will be formally sentenced next month.
That's a BBC's Tom Bateman in Jerusalem. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo visiting Iraq, an unannounced stop on his Mideast tour meant to promote the White House position on Iran. Pompeo and the Iraqi Prime Minister discussing efforts to ensure the lasting defeat throughout the region of ISIS. News and analysis at townhall.com. Well, Sears hanging in there. The company's chairman has gotten a little more time to secure the funding he's promised to keep the iconic retailer afloat.
Lawyers for Sears told a New York bankruptcy judge that there had been round-the-clock negotiations to try to save a deal offered by CEO Eddie Lampert to preserve 425 stores and 50,000 jobs. Lampert is apparently willing to deposit tens of millions of dollars from his ESL hedge fund to satisfy the board of directors. But that doesn't automatically save the company. Lampert's bid will go to auction next week, competing with other bids from liquidators who are trying to shut down Sears. I'm Jackie Quinn.
Amnesty International applauding a UN body's decision to grant refugee status to a young Saudi woman stopped in Thailand as she was trying to flee her allegedly abusive family. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Serving more people, more places, 24/7. If your AC breaks down, we'll restore your indoor heaven. Installation or repair, one call will be there. It's your family, don't delay. Comfort's just a call away. We're Comfort Services. Comfort Services.
You've heard the comment, save your energy. Well, Comfort Services can save your energy bill and make your home more comfortable. Specializing in installation, HVAC, and comprehensive air quality services. Locally owned since 2003, Comfort Services is nationally certified and a Carrier Energy Expert dealer with highly qualified technicians. Go to ComfortServicesInc.com or call 910-695-2665 on Highway 5 next to Habitat in Aberdeen. 910-695-2665.
Comfort's just a call away. Comfort Services.
Jump into the fire at Brick's Wood Fire Pizza at the Cole Shopping Center and enjoy those famous pizzas. But Brick's now has wood fire wings, and all the items on the menu are fresh every day. Brick's Pizza is locally owned and a big supporter of Moore County schools in athletics and the arts. Dine inside or on the outdoor patio and try out those delicious wings. Jump into the fire at Brick's Wood Fire Pizza, Cole Shopping Center, Southern Pines. Open every day at 11 a.m.
You can jump into the fire, and I'm proud to be an American where it leads.
Plumbing is proud to serve Moore County with superior workmanship and dependable plumbing service, including 24/7 emergency service. Like the name says, we take pride in our work and your safety. Our employees must pass background and drug tests and share Pride Plumbing's reputation for quality service. From simple leaky faucets to new water heaters and sewer lines, backflow testing and installation, drain cleaning, plumbing repairs, and, if necessary, replacement and remodeling. A family business with over 50 years of prideful service. Go online to callprideplumbing.com and check out our 5-star customer reviews. We offer a 10% discount to all veterans and active military. Call Pride Plumbing of Moore County at 910-295-0152. 910-295-0152. Serving with pride since 1965.
It isn't just a meal with KitchenAid. It's your daily dose of inspiration. Spark your culinary ambition with KitchenAid now at Keys Appliance Center and get up to $1,600 by a prepaid rebate card by mail when you purchase select appliances. Explore the savings on cooking, cleaning, and refrigeration. Everything you need to create the perfect kitchen workshop. Visit Keys Appliance Center today for great savings on KitchenAid brand appliances. Offer valid July 19th through December 31st, 2018. See store for full details and qualified models.
Do you have a high value or collector's vehicle? It's Anthony from Champion Car Wash and Detail Shop in Southern Pines. For years, you've been told that a coat of wax every 6 months to a year is the best way to protect your investment. But what if I told you that there's a revolutionary product that, when applied to your vehicle, offers protection against swirls, scratches, tree sap, acid rain, and bird lime for years instead of months, guaranteed? I'm proud to announce that we're now one of 3 detailers in the state of North Carolina and the only one in the Sandhills to be accredited by G-Technic, one of the world's leading ceramic coating manufacturers, to apply these cutting-edge products. Our flagship coating, G-Technic Crystal Serum, comes with a 7-year protection guarantee, and we're the only certified installer in the area. Stop by or give us a call at 692-5060 to find out more. That's Champion Car Wash and Detail Shop near Morganton and Broad, across from the Shell Station in Southern Pines.
NCN News. I'm Mike Riley. The man currently overseeing Special Counsel Robert Mueller's Russian probe is getting ready to step down. CBS News has confirmed that Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein plans to resign in the next few weeks. Correspondent Paula Reed has more.
Rosenstein is expected to leave the Justice Department in the next few weeks. Around the same time, the new Attorney General, William Barr, is expected to be confirmed. Now, I'm told Rosenstein always saw this as about a 2-year position, and he wants to help ensure a smooth transition. But the timing is surprising, and it's unclear what this means for the special counsel's investigation.
We're now at day 19 of the partial government shutdown. State Ag Commissioner Steve Troxler tells SFNtoday.com it's really hurting farmers in North Carolina.
So we would hope that they would get together, come to an agreement, don't damage farmers anymore. We can't keep waiting 18 months, 12 months. It's a crisis time. This ain't the time to be playing with farmers' lives.
President Trump made his case for a border wall in a primetime Oval Office address last night. CBS News Director of Elections and Surveys, Anthony Salvato, weighs in on what Americans think about his proposal and the wall.
Keeping this issue front and center, that's clearly something that might play towards that Republican base, because they did pick immigration as, among others, their most important issue when they were voting for Republicans in the midterm. So it somewhat depends on what you wanted your Congress to do as you were casting that ballot.
The North Carolina General Assembly begins its 2-year session today, with Democrats holding more seats since Republicans took over the legislature in 2011. A conservative Christian group wants the North Carolina House to delay seating a winning Democratic candidate from November because it says there are questions about absentee ballots in the extremely close race in Mecklenburg County. The North Carolina Values Coalition filed documents with the House clerk yesterday. You're listening to NCN News.
The Carolina Hurricanes invite you to join them in celebrating all things North Carolina as their homegrown series continues Friday, January 11th, as the Canes host the Buffalo Sabres. Enjoy a Carolina fried pork chop sandwich, maybe some banana pudding, beer from Deep River Brewing Company, music from Frontside, and specially designed T-shirts from Oak City Collection. The homegrown series, Sabres at Canes, Friday, January 11th. Learn more at hurricanes.com/homegrown.
State lawmakers are cranking up a new legislative session. Everything's on the table. The budget, education, transportation, regulation. What are they doing, and how is it affecting you, your family, your business, your wallet? Carolina Journal helps you find answers. Available each month as a free newspaper. Every day online at carolinajournal.com. Carolina Journal, your #1 source for government news that affects you. Visit carolinajournal.com today.
Secretary of State Mike Pompeo made a stop in Iraq today. CBS News correspondent Cammie McCormick has more from the Pentagon on the continuing U.S. military mission there.
Pompeo's visit was to reassure the Iraqis about the U.S. military withdrawal in Syria. The Iraqis are concerned about their border. Because of that, they've been part of the fight against Islamic State in Syria. His visit is also meant to counter Iran's growing influence in Iraq. The State Department says Pompeo underlined the U.S. commitment to Iraq's sovereignty. The U.S. has more than 5,000 troops in Iraq 15 years after the invasion.
The Durham City County Joint Committee heard recommendations Tuesday from an appointed committee on Confederate monuments regarding the future of a Confederate monument toppled in 2017 outside the old Durham County Courthouse. Committee co-chair Robin Kerr.
Our first recommendation is that the damaged statue be displayed in its current condition, along with interpretive text explaining its origin and the history that led to its fall. We think that this should be located in the interior of the building nearest the remaining statue base.
2 people were seriously hurt after a crash in High Point about 3 p.m. on Tuesday afternoon. Police say a 2015 Chrysler 200 ran a stop sign and entered the path of a school bus. Less than 2 weeks after a woman in a vegetative state gave birth, all the men who work at a long-term care facility in Arizona have been ordered to give DNA samples.
Hacienda Healthcare says it continues to cooperate with the police. The company's CEO resigned after the revelation that the woman, who's been in a vegetative state for more than 10 years, delivered a baby boy late last month. Officials at an Apache reservation in southeastern Arizona say she was an enrolled member of their tribe. Her family has asked for privacy, but has released a statement saying that the baby has been born into a loving family and will be well cared for. Vicki Barker, CBS News.
Mike Rayleigh, NCN News.
Good morning. The spring weather is no more. It'll feel like winter today with high temperatures climbing into the upper 40s to lower 50s. We're much cooler, mostly sunny and windy today. Tonight, partly cloudy and breezy. Wind chill falling into the teens and 20s overnight. Actual low temperatures in the upper 20s tonight. By tomorrow, cold, sunny, and still breezy as high temperatures climb only into the lower 40s. I'm meteorologist Kat Campbell in the North Carolina News Network Weather Center.
Right now here in the Sand Hills area, we're looking at sunny skies, 44 degrees. Humidity, 49%, dew point 26, pressure is 2997, winds west-northwest at 5, visibility 10 statute miles. It's 6, let's make it 8:14, and take a look at your Sand Hills news for this Wednesday hump day. Class sizes are shaping up once again to be one of the primary factors driving Moore County schools' upcoming budget negotiations. Local school districts are preparing to comply with a state mandate to reduce class sizes in kindergarten through 3rd grade and begin phasing in for the 2017-2018 school year. That year, Moore County Schools had enough room in its budget to simply hire a few extra teachers that were needed. But the school is cutting 15 positions to balance the budget this year, and the students in 4th grade and up started feeling the crunch. The next phase of state class size mandates will reduce the district average K-3 classes sizes even further from 20 to 19, and the maximum class size allowed from 23 to 22. Moore County Schools has set its own ideal students ratio in grades 4 and up, but it's not required to meet them. And members of the Pinehurst Village Council say they hope to have reached an amicable settlement with the county over repairs to a collapsed road. The village contends that a leak in a water line under Lakeshore Court last June led to a large section of the road collapsing. But the county and its insurance company, which is through the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners, has denied responsibility. Because of the severity of the damage, the village decided to repair the road after the county fixed the leak. at a cost of $73,000, according to the assistant village manager. He told the council Tuesday that since it was taking so long for the county to make a decision on whether to accept responsibility, the village decided to fix the road in the interest of public safety. That's your latest Sand Hills news this morning, but stand by. Here comes your latest in sports right here on Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM WEEB, where it's 8:16.
NCN Sports, I'm Josh Zach. Round one of the UNC and NC State rivalry. Luke May was the hero for the Tar Heels, scoring 21 points to help number 12 UNC hold off the 15th-ranked NC State Wolfpack 90-82 at PNC Arena in Raleigh. Freshman Kobe White had 19 points for the Heels, who scored the first 12 points of the game and never trailed.
We just knew that it was a big game, and we knew we had to jump on them early and throw the first punch. On the road, going to be harder if you get punched in the mouth first because of the crowd behind them and all that.
NC State's bench, meanwhile, they outscored Carolina's bench 35-0 at halftime and 43-9 for the game. But the Heels held tough to hand the Wolfpack their second loss of the season. NC State coach Kevin Keats.
We did enough to win the game. If we clean up some stuff and we do a great job rebounding the basketball and we do a great job getting a few more 50-50 balls, it's a different outcome.
Kenny Williams ended up with 15 points and 10 rebounds on the night for Carolina. Cam Johnson also recorded a double-double, 15 points and 11 rebounds before Cramps ended his night early in the second. Zion Williamson recorded a double-double for top-ranked Duke. He had 30 points and 10 rebounds as Duke won his first road game of the season by beating Wake Forest 87-65. R.J. Barrett finished with 21 points and matched a season high with 7 assists. Cam Reddish had his best game in a month. He had 10 points to help the Blue Devils win their 8th straight. On the ice, Justin Williams, for the second game in a row, scored a late third-period goal, and that helped the Carolina Hurricanes last night beat the Islanders 4-3 in New York. Carolina snapped the Isles' 6-game winning streak, and they extended their own to 5. Lou Williams had 27 points and 10 assists, and the LA Clippers beat the Hornets 128-109 for their 109. It was the 9th straight time at the Staples Center that the Clippers beat Charlotte. Montrezl Harrell had 23 points and 11 rebounds, while Tobias Harris had 23, and Danilo Gallinari had 20 in the Clippers' 3rd win in a row overall. This is NCN Sports.
At AT&T, we believe that access to affordable home internet brings you incredible opportunities. You can enjoy the power to explore a digital world of possibilities and connect with family, friends, and the things that matter most. That's why there's access from AT&T. If a member of your household is a SNAP participant, you may qualify for home internet at a discounted rate of $10 a month. No commitment, no deposit, no installation fee. Plus, get an in-home Wi-Fi gateway at no extra cost. Call 1-855-220-5211 or visit att.com/aware to learn more.
SNAP refers to the Federal Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. Pricing excludes tax. Service will include a monthly data allowance depending on the type and speed of service you receive. If you exceed your monthly data plan allowance, you will be automatically charged $10 for each 50 gigabytes of data usage in excess of your data plan, even if less than 50 gigabytes is used. For details about data allowances, go to att.com/internet-usage. Wi-Fi enabled device required. Other restrictions apply.
The Toronto Raptors improved to an NBA best 31-12 record after a 104-101 victory over Atlanta. On the collegiate court, 3rd-ranked Tennessee is 13-1 after an 87-63 triumph of Missouri. Number 6, Michigan State improved to 14-2 after the Spartans beat Purdue 77-59. And number 7, Texas Tech, they broke a tie late in the second half of their 66-59 win over 23rd-ranked Oklahoma. While NHL teams that fire their coaches this season aren't faring much better, 4 of the 6 that made a change over the summer are in a playoff position at the midway mark. The Capitals' Todd Reirden and former Carolina coach Bill Peters, who's in Calgary right now, they're both going to coach the NHL All-Star Game. They've got teams in first place halfway through the season. Josh Zach, NCN Sports.
Hello, this is Chris Ennis, Service Manager at Pinecrest Patriots Hyundai. We want to thank all of our loyal customers for entrusting us with the care and maintenance of their vehicles over the years. But did you know we also service Lexus, saving you a trip to Raleigh or Charlotte? In fact, our factory-trained and certified ASE technicians can service any type of vehicle. Your complete satisfaction is our #1 goal, so please consider Pinecrest Patriots Hyundai for all your vehicle service needs. We are open Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. and open on Saturday from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. We can be reached at 910-692-2424. We look forward to seeing you.
Hello, I'm Pat McClain, and would like to welcome you to McClain Drug. McClain Drug is located at 735 South Bennett Street. We offer easy access, friendly, helpful service, drive-through pickup, and discount drug prices. And don't forget at McClain, we offer pet and equine prescriptions. So when we say make McClain Drug your one-stop shop for all your prescriptions, we do mean all.
McClain Drug at 735 South Bennett Street in Southern Pines for all your prescription needs. 246-9355.
Good morning, First Casualty Insurance. This is Jared.
Jared, I just rear-ended a brand new Lexus. The guy really looks mad, and I'm sitting in my car with my windows rolled up. What am I going to do? What am I going to do?
Wanda, now stay calm. Is anyone injured? Have you called the police?
They just arrived. Oh, Jared, am I in big trouble?
Wanda, you're not in trouble. The officer will need to get some info from you and the other driver. You should go ahead and get out of the car and speak with them.
Okay, if I have to.
When you are finished with the police, give me a call back, and I will help you file a claim so that your car and the other person's car can be repaired as quickly as possible.
Oh, thank you, Jared. You've made me feel so much better. I love First Casualty Insurance.
We represent over 3 dozen outstanding companies. Call us anytime you have an insurance question. We want to be your insurance people. 910-692-8303. First Casualty Insurance Group, Southern Pines. 910-692-8303.
Jared Kirk and Amy McBride of the First Casualty Insurance Group in Southern Pines talk about the benefits of being an FCIG customer.
Our agency has been in business since 1984. We are an independent agency, which means that we have numerous carriers. Having multiple carriers benefits our customers because it offers them more options for their coverage and price.
One of the most asked questions we get from our clients is how much do they need to insure their home for? Many clients think they should insure their home based on tax value or what they could sell their home for. Neither is correct.
Insurance carriers want to insure your home for the replacement value. Replacement value is what it would take to rebuild your home back to its current state in the event of a complete loss.
First Casualty Insurance Group of Southern Pines. Call them today at 910-692-8303 or find them on the web at fcignc.com.
Hello, I'm John Zumwalt, and you're in the Zumwalt Zone. Many years ago, when I was a Houston cop, we got a call to a bar that was known for being pretty rough. When we got there, a drunk guy started yelling at us and telling us that he wanted to report a crime. Turns out he had been in a fight, but he wanted to report the guy he was fighting with. According to all the witnesses, both men were equally guilty. That's the way it usually turned out. Both sides want to give their version of a story, and normally both of them are not given the full story. And that is so like what is happening in America. It seems sometimes there are just two kinds of people. Those who love President Trump, like me, and those who hate his guts and his liver. This hatred has gotten so bad that there are very few healthy discussions anymore. I don't care if you don't like the president. Just give me a reason. Don't just keep yelling, he's a racist, he's a racist. Give some solid examples. He wants to build a wall to enforce immigration law. Congress passed those laws, Republicans and Democrats. Get mad at them. Every president that has been alive in your lifetime has enforced those laws. Why are you so insanely angry at President Trump? Well, I think I know. And believe me, it didn't take a genius to figure this out. You hate him because the media spends every minute telling you lies about what's happening. All I'm asking is this. When some talking head makes an accusation, simply check it out, like I always do, in the Zumwalt Zone.
Good morning. Grab the winter coat today. What a change from yesterday as high temperatures only climb into the upper 40s to lower 50s this afternoon. We're mostly sunny and breezy throughout the day today. Winds stick around tonight, and that'll lead to wind chill as low temperatures fall into the upper 20s tonight. Wind chill early tomorrow morning, likely falling into the teens for many of us. Highs tomorrow only in the lower 40s with sunshine and a breeze. I'm meteorologist Kat Campbell in the Weather Center.
And now, the Sandhills' #1 morning show. Mornings with the Leader Man. Here on Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM WEEB. And heard and seen around the world at talk973.com.
The best part of waking up is waking up with us.
Wake up, sleepyhead. Up and out.
What day is it? Wednesday.
Wednesday.
All day.
I had no idea.
Oh, man. Where did the time go?
good coffee. A big double shot for you. Keep you up all day.
Got a show, Tom, in case you didn't notice.
You are going to love this.
Am I?
Am I?
Really?
Sure about that? 99% sure.
Okay, if you say so.
Let's get to it.
Showtime.
Hand me down the walking cane. Hand me down my hat. Hurry now and don't be late, 'cause we ain't got time to chat. You and me, we're going out. Catch the late sound. Guaranteed to blow your mind so high you won't come down. Hey, y'all, prepare yourself for the rubber band. Man, you've never heard a sound like a rubber band. Man, go down to lose control when the rubber band starts to jam. Oh, this dude is out of sight.
Good morning, Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM, WEEB. Welcome back to the most listened to program in all of the Sand Hills. It is Mornings with the Leader Man. I am Steve Leader Adams, and don't forget, of course, we are being heard and seen around the world on the live video stream. That's available to you at talk973.com. Top middle of the page is where the link is located. If you're looking at the top right-hand corner of any of our web pages at talk973.com, you'll see an icon that says Listen Live. If you just need audio, click that, and you're in business. Just that quick. Listening to our live stream. And if you're on your mobile device for the video, you use your YouTube app. Put Mornings with the Leader Man in there. If you're on your mobile device, just need audio, we suggest apps like Streama, TuneIn, iTunes. They'll all play it for you. And just put WEEB into those searches. Weather for us today here in the Sand Hills area. It's going to be mostly sunny today. Cooler temperatures, more seasonable. High of 54 tonight, clear low of 27. Thursday, sunny 42. Friday, sunny 45. Saturday, cloudy with a slight chance of rain and snow. That's slight chance, 20% stuff. A high of 44. Still an 80% chance of rain Saturday night, 34 for your low. Sunday, cloudy with rain, a high of 42. Sunday night, mostly cloudy with rain and snow, a low of 33. Monday, mostly cloudy and a slight chance of snow, high of 40. So it's not going to be too warm for anything to stick as it stands now. Right now around the Sand Hills, winds are west-northwest at 5, visibility 10 statute miles. Pressure is 29.97, dew point 26, humidity is 49%. It's sunny and 44 degrees currently here at Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM, WEEB.
Everything about me seems out of place, but just move, just a rubber band man, just move, just a rubber band man, get down, get down, brother.
All right, it is 8:30 past the hour, and as we started last week, and we'll continue on Wednesday mornings at 8:30, we're going to have a special edition with John Zumwalt and what we call the extended version of the Zumwalt Zone. And John, of course, is a local businessman here and has a lot of intellect into a lot of areas and concerns and tries to keep us up to date on what's happening. What's on our plate for today, John?
Well, Steve, today, and by the way, intellect, I think, is judged by how much you agree or disagree with the person, so there are a lot of folks out there who believe I have zero intellect. We're going to talk about how politicians raise campaign money and how they spend campaign money. First, I'd like to say a word about several of you, in fact, quite a few of you have asked me about Rusty Disney. You might recall Rusty Disney was the gentleman who last year was so concerned about the homeless people and the terrible weather that we were having, and he would go out and hunt them down and find them a shelter using his own money. And so a lot of you donated, and a lot of you gave blankets and different things, and it turned out to be a really good effort. Some of you may not have known that Rusty only had one leg. He had a prosthetic. And I've got some sad news to report. Rusty is either lost that other leg or he's in the process of losing it. And I know that you're very sorry to hear that. So we're going to see if we can come up with a better plan, or rather a different plan, to carry on some of Rusty's work and get him involved. He still has all the things that were donated to him and is very eager to share that. So, all right, with that bit of sad news, let's get on with what we're going to talk about. You know, I get asked quite a bit, Zumwalt, why do you always feel a need to talk about what you call political malpractice? And I understand that, and I get that it gets old sometimes. But I feel like if I don't do it, who's going to do it? Who's going to tell you the things that you're going to hear today? Some people are going to be very angry when they hear what I've got to say because they're establishment politicians. Others, hopefully, will be a little bit upset because of the things you're going to hear. And these are all facts. Are you going to read about it in the Pilot newspaper? If you get through laughing, of course not. Try to decide.
That would take up extra paper, and for a struggling newspaper, you won't hear anything actual news-wise.
No, especially, it's my opinion, anything that's controversial unless they're forced to print it. So this is about the only place you can hear these things, and again, they're factual. They're spoken of without malice. There's no intent to try to harm anyone. There's no hatred here. Now, here's the problem, trying to decide how to present these facts. It's difficult. The Republican establishment is sick of this, and they're letting me know it. The most beloved establishment politician that we have, in spite of his lack of progress, even the Pilot loves him. And of course, I'm talking about the guy everyone loves, a guy that cannot be beaten, our favorite Representative Jamie Bowles. Even I like him as a person. Just don't like him as my representative. Let me tell you what got me started on this topic. Jamie's having a birthday party, and yes, you're invited, and I'm dead serious. Of course, it'll cost you $25. Well, let me rephrase.
I'll say your checkbook is invited.
Yeah, you and your checkbook. It'll cost you $2,558 to attend to be a host couple, and the list goes down all the way to, if you want to just bring a couple, $158, and if you're coming by yourself, it's $100 per person. Now, of course, we know, and he openly states, this little birthday bash is in support of his re-election campaign. Jamie, you just got sworn in. Must have heard the same rumor, I guess, that I heard about who may run against you next time. Then again, I don't report rumors. When I posted this little birthday bash on Facebook and made a snide comment about it, a guy who I like, a former head of the Moore County Republican Party, commented, quote, "JD, give it a rest. This is getting old," end quote. Yeah, I bet it is. I bet you'd love to keep that quiet. Well, I hope you're listening. Let me ask you a question out there. When someone runs for office, why do you donate to them? Maybe you like them. Some people like a politician. They give them $5, $10, $100. Maybe they saw them at a picnic. They showed up at an event where they seemed nice. They shook your hand. Might have even put some mustard on your hot dog. When the lady at the table asked for a check, well, you wrote one. And that's okay. You cannot run for office without money. Politicians raise money all the time. There's really no other way for most people to run without getting donations. You've got to buy yard signs, you've got to buy ads, etc. It gets expensive, and it gets expensive quick. So really no problem with that. Oh, by the way, you do know we're talking about campaign money today. Emphasis on campaign. That's going to become very important here in just a second. Other people donate for a different reason. They donate for access to the candidate and to be able to influence the candidate. Now, I don't think any of us believe for a second that a politician could be influenced by money, but apparently these people do, or at least it seems to me they do. Now, let's look at some.
That would be people like Duke Power and the like. So they give a check to everybody up there just so that they don't ever bring up the thought of burying a power line.
You're kind of stealing my thunder here because I'm going to be talking about that, as a matter of fact, in just a second. Let's look at some of Jamie's campaign and how it's spent. Of course, there's not enough time for us to look at all of them. but you can look it up. It's pretty easy. I did. Jamie's gotten lots of money from what was Steve was just talking about, from PACs. Now, I know that all of you know what a PAC is. It's an entity that's organized to influence politicians. Very common. And I don't have any problem with a PAC. I don't really know how we could operate without them, because some very good things are done with money that people give through PACs. Well, let me tell you. Let me just tell you. Well, I'm going to get untongue-tied here and start over. Jamie got $5,000 from the Eastern Band of the Cherokee Indians. All right, don't get angry with me. Indians, I said. You know why? Because that's what they call themselves. The Eastern Band of the Cherokee Indians. And what some of you will take away from this is, oh my goodness, Zumwalt is terrible. He should make them change that to the Eastern Band of the Cherokee Native Americans. Well, that's how ridiculous we get sometimes. But no, he got $5,000 from the Eastern Band of the Cherokee Indians. Now wait, why would they donate that to him? You reckon they were sitting around one day and one of them said, you know, I heard about a guy named Jamie Bowles in North Carolina. He seems like a pretty good guy. We should send him $5,000. Or you reckon it's because the Eastern Band of the Cherokee Indians is working to expand their multi-billion-dollar casino business further into North Carolina. They already have one, and I don't really have a lot of time to go into the details, but it's almost like a movie. I wish you'd look it up and read about it. Not off their site, but off of a news site. You'll find out that the Eastern Band of the Cherokee Indians has given lots of money to just about every politician on both sides of the aisle. They've given money to the Democrat. They've given money to the Republicans, the party. They are trying to expand their businesses, and I don't blame them. But since so many politicians are being paid by, I mean, that was a slip, or getting donations from both parties are getting them, and it's perfectly legal. And I'm sorry to repeat myself, but I don't think anyone believes a politician could be bought. Let's look at a campaign expense, Jamie reported. They seem pretty tame. He listed expenses for showing up to present flags to Boy Scouts. Isn't that wonderful? He listed gas money and expenses to attend funerals. Isn't that wonderful also? What could be better than to have a representative show up at your funeral, or to show up and give your son a flag when he became an Eagle Scout? Nothing wrong with that, I guess. But let me ask you this. We're talking about campaign expenses he listed. What if your son had worked hard, done all his Boy Scout things that you've got to do to become an Eagle Scout? And I don't know if most of you realize what a prestigious thing being an Eagle Scout is. It is a great, great accomplishment. Back in my younger days, when I was part of the hiring process, all things being equal, if you had been an Eagle Scout, we would hire you. Now, how would you like to have one of your representatives show up, only to find out that he had claimed that as a campaign expense? That can only mean one of two things. Either he lied and listed it as a campaign expense, which I don't think anybody would do, no politician would lie, or he was there to politic. He was there to campaign. And what makes it even worse, what if your representative showed up at one of your loved ones' funerals? And again, you later learned that he claimed it as a campaign expense. So there you are. You think he's brokenhearted because your loved one died. Next thing you know, he's claiming it as a campaign expense, which means, I don't know how you could follow this logic any other way, but he's at that funeral campaigning. Isn't that something? But let me emphasize, everything I've talked about and everything I'm going to talk about is perfectly 100% legal. I just don't think because something's legal necessarily makes it right. And besides that, we have people who would investigate if he was not completely above board. We have an agency that takes care of these kind of things. Oh, that reminds me of something else. Jamie spent $84.34 of his campaign money to send that group, the one that investigates him, the Board of Elections, an edible arrangement. What? A current and future candidate for office is sending gifts to the Board of Elections. That's legal. Don't take my word. Just ask the Board of Elections. campaign expense. Now, this will come as a relief to some of you, like me, who wonder about the high gas prices in Moore County. In the second quarter of the campaign, a PAC known as the Petroleum and Convenience Marketers gave him $1,000. The total oil money contributions are much, much, much higher. You reckon they want him to figure out why gas is so high in Moore County, and that's why they gave him so much money? This next one's kind of interesting. He's had numerous campaign expenses listed for gas used to review damage caused by Hurricane Florence. Campaign money, campaign spending. He claimed that money, gas money that he used to review the damage by Hurricane Florence is campaign. That must be a mistake. Paper said he was looking at damage. Do you mean he was actually doing that to get votes? He was actually campaigning? I just do not believe that. You know, if you list something as a campaign expense, what am I to believe? What are you to believe? Are we to believe that it's a campaign expense because he said so? Well, yeah, I would think so. So all that time he was out there reviewing, I'm so sorry to hear that he was actually out there campaigning, or he misreported. Here's a donation you'll like. He got, among other PAC donations, and this is one for Steve, at least $2,000. And I say at least because all the reports are not in yet. He got $2,000 from the Coal Ash King, or should I say the Coal Ash Duke, Duke Energy. Why do you think that they would give politicians money? What do you think, Steve?
Well, because every time bad weather comes around, we don't have power, and the solution is something they should have started 40 years ago, and that is putting power lines underground, because it'll take, 50 to 100 years to get them all under there, but that's how you ultimately have power when you most need it, and that's in bad weather. But this way they can keep stringing them up like they did in 1900. Stick them on a pole and string the tacky lines any which way they want to go.
And, of course, they've got the huge, and I do mean huge, coal ash issue. And, by the way, that...
Did they ever get fined for that? They dumped so much ash in the Dan River.
They're getting all kind of relief on that, and I don't know what the final outcome is. I just researched it last night, but it's so convoluted it's hard to figure out what's going on.
Last I heard, they did test downstream and said it wasn't of a concentration high enough to hurt anything.
Yeah, that's correct.
But something's wrong when a big corp like Duke No Progress Energy has all this coal ash released into our drinking water, and there are no consequences for it.
Well, it might help, and it'd probably help us if we could afford to give $2,000 to every politician. Of course, I doubt if they gave it to every politician, but they gave it to the ones that they felt like it'd help them. Or their board was sitting around just like the Cherokee Indians and thought, we ought to just start giving money to Democrats and Republicans. That would be a good thing to do. After all, we can always charge our electric company, our customers, more money. And that was your money, and that's kind of why I would like to see some of you get angry a little bit. I don't want to string anybody up, but I would like to see us come to a time when we'd say, look, I'm sick of this. And I've got to point out a couple of things here. All this is legal. There's not one single thing that you could find or I could find that's not legal. All experienced politicians do these things. It's not like Jamie is the only guy in the world who does it. They've got to raise money. They've got to raise money in order to get a chairmanship and be on a committee. You do any reading at all, and you'll find out that you're not going to get to be on a decent committee, and you're not going to be able to be a chairman unless you raise money. 2008 to 2016, that's 2008 to 2016. This is 2019, of course. Jamie raised $378,160. That's quite a bit of money for a man who's never had Republican opponents except for twice.
And that makes it extremely hard for opponents to take him on because his checkbook is 10 times the size of the average, new candidate that comes out there. And it discourages good candidates from running, because it is expensive. But when you're up against a war machine, it's twice as hard.
Well, it's almost exponential when you're talking about the difficulty, because money gets thrown at power, and the longer you're in office, the more powerful you become. It's easier and easier and easier for a politician to raise money the longer they've been there. It has become almost impossible, as we've seen, to beat an incumbent. Almost impossible. Now,
let me ask you, in your figures there, is there anywhere in there where he received money from other politicians, or did he give to other politicians?
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! I think I will be talking about that. I think I have this in my notes.
Okay.
But Steve brought up something that's pretty important. If you donate $100 to a politician, and you do it in good faith, you like the guy, you believe he's going to do some good, don't be surprised when you look at his campaign report, he donated that $100 to a different politician, one you may not even support. Don't be surprised if he gave $5,000 to the Republican Party, either the state Republican Party or one of its affiliates, for example, the Moore County Republican Party. And I do have more to say about that in just a second. One of the worst kept secrets in politics I found from my research is fundraising enforcement is weak. Well, I would say it's non-existent. Every once in a while you read about someone who got busted for some kind of campaign finance law, but what that really means is they've made the ruling party angry. They've done something to fall out, and so they're going to be prosecuted. And you know what else? You try it. Some of you've got a little time. Some of you are very, very good at researching. Try to follow this money. You see a PAC, it's hard to figure out what they even are. A PAC called the Americans for Justice might well be a group of defense attorneys who just want laws that will favor their guilty client. And they have these names sometimes throw you for a loop. I'd like you to notice something else. Even though I criticize Jamie, I do it with facts. There's nothing hate-filled here, nothing personal here, believe it or not. Every single time I see Jamie Bowles, he shakes my hand, and I got to give him a lot of credit for that, for being a gentleman. He suffers a lot of criticism from me, and I try to make them all factual. As much as I criticize him, I don't do it with hatred. I don't spew things. I don't talk about he's a bigot or anything else. I just wish his establishment handlers, and let me say that again, his establishment handlers would make him stand up and support Moore County. And Jamie, I don't know if you're listening. I know that I've heard that Zumwalt Zone's one of your favorite shows. But if you are listening, I wish you would just do a couple of things different, like start supporting us, get some of this money back that's going out of Moore County, and I'd be your biggest fan. But I see a little hope of that happening. The Moore County Republican Party gave him $500. Now, here's something that kind of got me. They gave him $500 just before he announced for election, just before the campaign, or rather just before the sign-up period started. Now, that race had a Republican candidate running against Jamie, a fellow named Ken Bird, a guy I supported. In that race, in that race, the party was supposed to remain neutral. And yet, just days before the filing period, they gave one candidate $500. It was okay, though, because the filing had not started yet, and establishment guys are very good at walking those tight lines. This will kind of address an issue that Steve addressed. That $500 they gave him, well, he was able to return that after his donations started coming in. In fact, he replaced that $500 and gave him $5,000 just a few weeks later. You see, that's how the finance game is played. It's hard to figure it out, but if you keep looking and you can keep digging, you'll eventually see a pattern.
So he took in $500 from the GOP, and then gave them a contribution back of $5,000.
Now, I'm not really...
I need to invest in returns like that.
Well, I've learned two things here. Let them give you $500, and you'll have $5,000 to give them. And I've also learned I'm going to have a birthday party. and charge people to come to it. Of course, nobody will come. Now, remember one thing. Politicians, all of them, spend a lot of time trying to convince you that they're your friend. And maybe they are. Or maybe they're using campaign funds to come charm you at a picnic or a flag presentation or even a funeral. Who knows? The next time you're somewhere and you see a politician and he's waving and smiling and saying things like, born and raised here in Moore County, just ask yourself, I wonder if he's spending campaign money to do this, or does he really like me? Maybe he likes you. Maybe he really likes you. I just want to mention a few of the PACs. And as I talk about these PACs, and I don't have a lot of time left, I want you to ask yourself, are these PACs trying to curry favor with him? Let me just name a few. The North Carolina Wine and Wholesalers Association gave him $3,000. Well, Jamie serves on the ABC board. You reckon they're trying to get him to pass some laws that would help them? The North Carolina Advocates for Justice, really a defense attorney's PAC, gave him $5,200. Wonder what they want. The North Carolina...
By the way, $5,200 is the max that you can give.
Okay, right, yeah. Exactly. The North Carolina Auto Dealers Association gave him $1,018. Have you ever had a problem with an auto dealer and had him tell you, well, that's the law? Well, sure, this has nothing to do with it. The North Carolina Realtors gave him $2,000. North Carolina Hospital Association gave him $1,000. Rather, PAC. These are all PACs. The North Carolina Home Builders PAC gave him $1,000. The BB&T PAC, the Branch Banking and Trust of North Carolina PAC, gave him $2,000. You ever wonder about banking laws? You ever wonder why they're so unfavorable to us? Not that I think that any politician would do that for the money, but it just kind of seems a little bit suspicious. The Carolina Link PAC and the CenturyLink PAC gave him money. Well, I don't know. Every time I have trouble with CenturyLink, I'm going to have to think about this, about how they're giving so much money. I've already mentioned that Duke Energy the PAC gave him more than $2,000. The Independent Insurance Agency. You ever try to file an insurance claim? Well, they gave him $1,000. They can easily say, hey, can't pay you, sorry. There's no law against it. Well, we mentioned the Eastern Band of the Cherokee Indians already. North Carolina Electric Cooperative's Rural Electrical Program gave them $1,000. Where do you think they got that $1,000? Let me just mention a couple more because this gets boring quick, and I get that. The last two I want to tell you about, I guess the last one, the Restaurant and Lodging Association gave them $1,000. Another one, AT&T, Blue Cross and Blue Shield, and the Carolina Link PAC all gave him considerable donations, along with and here's one of my favorites. The Petroleum and Convenience Marketers, which I've already mentioned, have given him large sums of money. So, Steve, let me ask you a question. We've mentioned a lot of things, and I've made some inferences, and I know that folks get tired of these kinds of things, listening to them. Do you think that anybody cares? Do you think anybody gets angry? Or do you think people just listen to it and say, oh, well, that's just the way they are, and we're never going to change it, and so let's not even mention it?
Unfortunately, it's the latter. And how to get people excited about something. You know, everybody says they won't change, but then what do? They send the same thing back and expect change out of it. Well, it's not going to happen. Bureaucrats are bureaucrats, and they're going to do it the same old way every time. And they also look at it as a way, well, if it costs more money, costs me more time, then I don't have any interest because it doesn't pay me any extra. But these politicians, they get the machine in place. They got the train of money coming in left and right. You know, like you said, he raised just shy of $400,000. And that's hard to take on for anybody else because you got to, you know, it's really expensive to run for a campaign. I know you and I both know it firsthand.
Yep, I know, and I and I guess I should have already told you this in the interest of full disclosure. The campaign before last, I ran against Jamie, and I did it at the last minute because I was upset with some of the things he was doing. Nobody knew me. I came from nowhere. No one had ever even heard of me. I had not been on the radio, nothing.
Any of these PACs give you money?
Not a dime. And matter of fact, my entire campaign, counting signs, counting everything that I had to purchase, I financed. In fact, when people asked me for money, I would tell them, no, I don't want any of your money because I don't want to be owing anyone. And you know what it cost me? $16,000. While other folks are spending $80,000, $90,000, $100,000, I spent $16,000. Now, I didn't win, but I came from nowhere at the last minute, and I got over 46% of the vote. So I believe you can.
It was a close vote.
It was a close race. And part of that was because I don't think Jamie took me serious, and can't really blame him. No one had ever heard of me. But I really think, let me say this first. Rather than seeing Jamie beat, because he's got some power, I wish he would start voting to end the tier system. I wish he'd start voting to get rid of the extended sales tax we don't get to keep. I just wish...
In other words, do what's right for the citizens of Moore County.
Do what's right for the citizens of Moore County. And no one would have a problem with you, Jamie, because folks do love you. You know, you're one of the most beloved guys in Moore County. I just happen to think you're really messing us around pretty badly as a representative.
You got 30 seconds. Any final advice?
No, except to say this. I hope that you didn't turn the radio off. Well, if you did, I won't know it. But and you won't hear this. But I hope folks listen. I hope you don't think I'm on a personal vendetta against Bowles, against Jamie, because I'm not. I just want this nonsense to stop, and I don't think there's any way for it to stop if you don't know about it. And I don't know how else you're going to hear about it.
And I also hope that there are groups out there that will try to find and recruit good people to run for office, because it's, you know, more than just being a qualified candidate. You got to have a lot of people behind you rooting for you and pulling for you and helping you out. Otherwise, it's hard to do. And we're not very good at being organized at that.
And as silly as this may sound, you've got to support them financially after what I just said.
Yeah. So it goes for this Wednesday. Have yourself a great, safe day. We'll see you back bright and early tomorrow. 7 to 9 for a Thumping Thursday. Until then, be sure to support all the mom and pop businesses you're here on our airways, because they're the backbone of our economy here in Moore County. Your money will stay here, roll over, and create jobs. And don't forget, millions of Americans that have fought and have died to give and protect the freedoms that you get to enjoy today. So live today worthy of their and their family's sacrifice. I'm Steve Leader Adams, and the Leader Man, and Nick and Colt the Dog will all see you at the Chili Dog Park today at 2 p.m.